The weekly social media chat. Before I play an excerpt of the interview that I had with David Shaughnessy of the Kansas City Irish Fest, which is the festival in question for Festwatch this week, I thought I would just stop by very quickly to make a quick announcement that, as you can probably see by the background here, it is also a week of CKONLINE teaching, because my online teaching website, CKONLINE Teaching, has a brand new Halloween term, 7-week term, starting tomorrow, Sunday, September the 5th. And you are all more than welcome. So, as I've done in the last few terms, I have opened up week 1 and class 1 to anyone who wants to join. There's no charge to join for week 1. So you can see the Zoom links in the PDF that I've given the link in the description above or below this video. And if you want to sit in the class tomorrow, you can do so absolutely free of charge. So it's a 7-week long term. You can sit into week 1 absolutely free. And then if you decide after week 1 that you want to sit in the remaining 6 classes and sign up for the term, well, then week 1 will be included in that fee. So you will be charged for week 1 if you decide to take the term, but you can sit in the term, sit in week 1 absolutely free. So what classes do we have on offer? Well, there's 3 ways of learning in this term. The first way is a group setting, so you can sign up for Irish history and or Irish language in a group capacity. You can sign up in an individual class, 1-to-1, and that's a single slot or a double slot. Or you can also sign up for WhatsApp learning, which is if you can't commit to the same time or the same class each week, well then you're more than welcome to sign up to a WhatsApp group, which means that every day of the week, Monday to Friday, I submit a new phrase in the Irish language into a WhatsApp group. So if you want to learn that way, it's the most easygoing way to learn and most flexible for sure. So they're the 3 different ways that you can learn. The subjects that we're going to be doing are going to be Irish history. There's 2 Irish history classes to learn. The Irish story is the first one. And I'm going to be getting all of the people who have registered for the term to select the time periods in question that they want to learn about. So those who've been doing CKONLINE for a while now will know that we've gone from early Christian Ireland to Celtic Ireland to the Viking invasion, Norman invasion, British invasion, 19th century, looking at, Daniel O'Connell, the Irish famine, Charles Stewart Parnell, into the 20th century, 1916, Easter Rising, Civil War, War of Independence, and then more recent history with the Troubles in Northern Ireland as well. So we've really covered a huge variety of time periods in Ireland. But for the Irish story, I'm going to be getting those who have signed up to tick a box of the time period they want to look at in question. And that's going to be starting tomorrow on Sunday. And then during the week, we're going to have more group classes, which is Irish ballads and their context. So again, those who have signed up will get an experience like no other term, because it's those who are sitting in the term are going to decide the ballads that we're going to be looking at. You decide which ballad you want to look at, and I'm going to each week take that ballad, look at the cultural context of it, what's happening historically around Ireland at that time, before looking at the ballad itself. So that's what's pretty much in store, as well as the Irish language, of course. So if anyone wants to speak the Cúpla Focal and learn the Irish language, well then you're more than welcome to sign up. So that's all of the things that we have starting tomorrow. And the last thing I should point out is that, as anyone knows about Halloween, it'd be a mist of me to start a Halloween term without looking at the origin of Halloween itself, which originates from old Irish and Celtic festivities, beliefs, and so on. So the last 4 weeks of the term, we're going to be looking at a Irish Halloween special, but there's more of that to come in future weeks as well, because that doesn't start for another few weeks or so. So that's everything that's starting tomorrow. It'd be great to see you there if it's suited. Even if you're toying with the idea of it, well then why not sit in week 1 and get an idea of what it's all about before the term starts next week. So all of that is going to be happening, and you can see with the link that there's a PDF with all of the links to register for the Zoom classes tomorrow, or you can sign up for an individual class and select your time slot that suits as well. The link is all there. So hopefully I will see you at some stage then. But for now, before the Colm Keegan radio show starts, here's an excerpt of the interview that I had with David Shaughnessy, who's the entertainment chair of the Kansas City Irish Fest, which is taking place this weekend, today and tomorrow. For anyone in the area, it is a festival that I haven't had the pleasure of seeing myself in person, but I've only heard amazing things about it, so I couldn't recommend enough to try and check it out. And there are still some last minute tickets available. So David tells me, here's an interview I had with David to give a bit more detail of what the festival's all about, which I hope you enjoy. After the interview, if you want to tune into the Colm Keegan radio show, it is going to be going on air today, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Irish time. Hope you enjoy if you tune in. Take care, folks. Slán. See ya. Hello, welcome back to the Colm Keegan Show here on Celtic Music Radio. Well, if you're only tuning into the programme now, we are in the middle of Fest Watch. And this week, the festival in question is the one and only Kansas City Irish Festival. If you're listening to the show online via CelticMusicRadio.net and in the Kansas City direction, there is this is certainly a festival that you won't want to miss. And joining me live on air to help discuss it further, we've got David Shaughnessy, the entertainment chair of the Kansas City Irish Fest, all the way over from Kansas. David, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Colm. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time out to have a chat, because I'm sure that you don't have many spare minutes this week of all weeks.
Very, very few, but I always got time for you guys. So,
well, it's great. It's great to have you on board. Well, so for some of the listeners who haven't been to the Kansas City Irish Festival before, perhaps maybe, and this is over in Scotland's radio as well, so a few of the listeners won't physically be able to go this weekend. So maybe you could kind of paint a picture of what the festival's like and how big it is. I mean, I've only heard amazing things of the Kansas City Irish Fest. So perhaps you could discuss the festival a little bit before we talk a little bit about your role within it.
Yeah, sure thing. The festival is located in Kansas City, Missouri, and it's on the grounds of Hallmark cards. Hallmark is, an industry leader in the greeting card genre, I guess. But it's right there. It's in between two great hotels. I don't know how many acres it is, maybe 12, 15. But we have two big stages, and we have a smaller acoustic stage and one inside. We've been doing this for 20 years. This is my 19th year of scheduling.
20 years.
We've had, and that includes COVID year. Last year was kind of.
Sure.
But we've been doing it for, this is our 19th year in business.
And have you been there for all 19 years, David?
Yeah, I've been the entertainment guy for 19 years.
Oh, my God. And what brought you into this world of Celtic music radio or festivals? And
well, I don't know, it's a funny story, but I was a drummer for a very long time, and then my wife got me a boron for a birthday or something like that, so I took that up, ended up playing in several bands, and I was been recorded several times, and then I just kind of molded my way into working at another festival we had prior to the Kansas City Irish Festival. We had two festivals there, the Westport Irish Fest and the Brookside Irish Fest. And those were two neighborhood festivals. And one was getting really big and the other one was getting really small. So we decided just to combine the two and make one large citywide festival.
That's incredible.
And so I've been doing it for 19 years.
And of those 19 years, is there any year in particular that stands out as the year to remember, or are they all just as unique every year? Or
each year is very unique. I mean, obviously last year was extremely unique, and that last year was really, as hard as it was not to have a full festival, we were able to put on a great 2.5 hour in-person, socially distanced, and live streamed event, which is totally out of everybody's wheelhouse. We know how to put on festivals. We can put 40 bands on, but we really had to switch it up and basically do something totally different. It was really cool because we all jumped in and just managed to pull it off.
I mean, it is incredible, and even to see the virtual capabilities of what you can do at the minute, that I think if had COVID have happened 10, 15 years ago, there just wouldn't have been that option available. But to see what was still possible in the last, year and a half, it really is quite remarkable to see that entertainment can still live in a virtual sense. Obviously, it's not the setting that everyone knows and loves, but yeah, but it's, the fact that something can still happen has been, one of the kind of the victories, I think, of this time to forget. And speaking of COVID times and everything like that, what's this festival been like trying to organize? I can't imagine, as the entertainment chair, trying to book artists and bands, and what's that been like for you, David?
Well, first of all, I'm fortunate to have an awesome executive director. Her name's Kelly Wenzel. She runs a festival. She's been doing it for 19 years. And then I've got a great team of on my entertainment committee. Kelly Doherty, Mark Fransky, and Michelle Maxwell and Carol Braun. They are, kind of keeping this thing going too. But no, back in the spring, we weren't quite sure if we were going to have a festival. We didn't know what the numbers were going to be like. As if you probably heard, the U.S. is a kind of a hotbed for the Delta variant, especially, in our area in South. And being in Missouri, there's a lot of tough restrictions that we have to adhere to. So we didn't quite know what was going to happen, if it was going to be canceled or not. I thought there was a good chance it would be. But luckily we kind of came through it. And as long as, we're an outdoor event, we can't have any stages inside. So,
sure.
it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But the one really challenging part of this is the international bands we get from Ireland, Scotland, the UK, and even for some from Canada. You guys couldn't get over here. There's no travel to the United States.
Yeah.
Unless you've got some sort of,
yeah.
I know, exactly what I'm talking about. So, bands that we consistently have from Ireland just couldn't get over here.
Yeah.
And because of the travel restrictions and because of the lockdown in Dublin, the embassy wasn't open. So nobody could get their visas.
Yeah.
And so it was like, and then throw COVID into it and, not having, not having the full knowledge what's going to happen, especially in Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, there was three factors that were just kind of holding us down.
Of course.
And,
I think they're the three factors that I think a lot of the times that, people who see the announcements on social media of why these things perhaps might be cancelled, or they don't fully understand kind of, the event itself, although I'm sure it's crazy busy for you guys in those 3 days. That's kind of just the tip of the iceberg of everything else that has to happen in preparation for those 3 days to take place. So that's the kind of where the complications lie, is all of the visa work, the paperwork and all of that, traveling that if they're closed down, it's just very, very difficult, So the fact you've managed to pull it off, David, is some achievement.
Yeah, it's been challenging. And I didn't even mention, the quarantining that we have to do over here. And then you have to do back, in the UK, in the EU.
Yeah.
What musician can afford to come over to America, then go to a hotel for 2 weeks and then play a select number of shows and then go back to to Ireland and quarantine for another 2 weeks?
Yeah, I know.
I know. Financially, it was just not possible.
But having said that, I mean, looking at the lineup that you've managed to pull off, David, I mean, it's certainly not a kind of a second string, if you want, group of musicians that are going to be performing. It's a festival that's worth going to see in its own right, and certainly listeners of the Colm Keegan Show each week will be familiar with a lot of the artists who are playing. But you've got the likes of the Ashley Davis Band, you've got Ian Gold, Damien McCarthy. We've got plenty of musicians that will be certainly worth checking out, and just to hear live music again must be some buzz and feeling to even just witness that again. I can't wait to hear live music. And
you're not the only one. We're gonna have a great crowd because people just want to get out and do something.
Sure.
And we're kind of the staple of the festivals here in Kansas City. Our hotels, we have these two great hotels within walking distance of the festival grounds, and they're both sold out, and they've been sold out for like 3 months. So people are really wanting to get out and do this. This is going to be a good thing. I mean, and we're lucky to have all the talented musicians, in America,
of course,
that can just step right in. So although we miss our Irish acts, like Shane Hennessy and Vernon Kelly, those guys.
slightly familiar with the work.
we banjo 3, those types. So we just missed out, but we still have a great lineup. I mean, it's
brilliant. And David, I mean, for some of the listeners locally here in Glasgow or Scotland, or there's a lot of Irish people that tune in each week as well, and they might be as surprised as I kind of was way about a decade ago when I started touring, to discover that you travel so far away from home, and yet the flame of Celtic culture and everything is so vibrant and strong in these communities. You know, perhaps you could maybe discuss that. I don't want to put you on the spot now of, you know, going through a history lesson of why it's so prevalent in strong communities, but it really is such a you know, whether I was with the shows Celtic Woman or Celtic Thunder when I was there with them, you know, Kansas City was always a massive show. You know, I haven't been to the Kansas City Irish Fest, but talking to Neil and Ryan in particular, you know, who I know are kind of regular features on the ticket there, like, it just seems like such a massive community of Celtic culture and Irish culture and everything that's alive in Kansas City. Where does that stem from, do you know?
You know what? I can't answer that.
Yeah.
I think we had I mean, back in the day, you know, my parents, my great grandparents came from Galway.
Sure.
And they settled in, you know, Kansas City, and one in Seneca, Kansas, which is not too far away from here. And I think it just grew. I think we just somehow had the attraction to bring in a lot of immigrants. And even now, today, you know, we still have occasionally we have an immigrant come over here and stay in Kansas City because they know people.
Yeah.
It's real fascinating. But we've had this culture for a long time before I was around. We have one of the largest St. Patrick's Day parades in America that runs through here. And I think everybody just feels that they are, you know, part Irish.
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't have to be Irish to come here. You know, this is people just love the culture and they love the music.
It's amazing.
I can't give you a solid answer. I know it's different if you go to the West Coast. Yeah. And, you know, it's obviously bigger in Chicago and Boston and New York, especially. But
well, I think that's what took me by surprise, was that they're the cities that you grow up knowing have big Irish communities in it, you know, and it wasn't until I started touring the States and you go to big cities like Kansas City, but then to see just how many the shows are always packed. You know, it's why Celtic Thunder chose to record one of its DVDs there. The crowd is always amazing in Kansas City. You know, it's amazing. It really is such a brilliant support network, and you know, I've performed at the Irish Centre there a few times as well, and it's brilliant there as well. So it's great. I mean, it's the fact that it's alive and well is brilliant, but just, you know, some of the listeners mightn't be familiar with the fact that there is this massive hub of Celtic culture that exists out there, which is terrific. So coming back to the festival then, David, yeah. You know, it's not just a musical event, although music obviously plays a massive role at the festival. There's a lot of non-musical activities that take place during the few days as well, that perhaps you can maybe talk about one or two of the non-musical side of things as well that people can expect to see. Well,
we have quite a large children's area where the kids can go and have their face painted, and bounce houses. And there's even a small kid stage with a lot of different, you know, acts on there, anywhere from, you know, puppet shows to, brilliant, you know, small bands to, you know, I think there's even like a little dinosaur show or something like that on the children's stage. And then we've got a great culture stage where, you know, we have people come in and give cooking lessons on Irish cooking, or history lessons on the history of Kansas City, the history of the Irish in Kansas City. So there's a lot to do besides, you know, just listen to music. And we've got, you know, some awesome food trucks. We have Art in the Park, which is a big area that you can go down and you can view and buy art. It's like a little art fair. So there's tons to do. It's amazing. I mean, one thing that constantly blows my mind anytime I perform at an Irish Fest is just to see how many boxes that you guys think of to tick. You know, if I had to come up with a list of all the Irish and cultural things you could do, I'd be well short of the amount of things that you guys managed to fit into a few days. You've really got something for everyone, as you're talking there about the kids as well. You've got things for everyone and for all ages as well. It's a brilliant atmosphere and family thing to do as well. Yeah, exactly. And that's why people love coming here. It's because it is a family event. It's, you know, it's not just your typical, you know, the stereotypical Irish event where people just, you know, listen to music and drink. Yes, no, it's a family thing, and that's a, you know, stereotype that Americans have, because that's, you know, green beer and all that crap. But, it's a family event, and we encourage families to come down.
Sure. It's brilliant. Well, if you're only tuning into the show now, this is the Colm Keegan Show on Celtic Music Radio, and we're discussing Fest Watch this week. Kansas City Irish Fest is in the hot seat, and I'm live now with David Shaughnessy of the Kansas City Irish Fest. David, I would love to be listening to live music. I'd love to be getting out to the festival this weekend. I'm sure it's going to be an absolutely fantastic day. Massive congratulations for being able to pull it off this year of all years. I can't imagine as the entertainment chair just how difficult it's been for you. But, we'll be watching from afar on social media. I'm sure it'll be brilliant. For anyone in the area looking to get tickets, are there still tickets available?
Yeah, absolutely. You go to kcirishfest.com and you can buy tickets there, or you can just buy them at the gate. Or you can get in free if you come down. If you come to the festival, you can get a vaccine and you get in free. So Perfect. Even better.
Absolutely. David, thank you so much. Best of luck with the weekend. Thanks for
taking the time.
Really appreciate it. Take care.
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful